this video, I'm going to show you how to cut a gable stud. This is a gable stud. If you look at it, these two angles go in the same direction. Let's say that we use a 2x6 for a rafter. That rafter would fit like here. All right, and now your gable stud can't be sticking up above this, so I would mark this and trim that little bit off. We're going to show you how to cut that, and then we would nail through here with 16 penny nails to hold our rafter to our gable stud. Then that way we can put sheeting right here on our gable stud. So I'm going to show you to do that. So the first thing that we got to do is figure out what our roof pitch is. So that's going to be stated on your plan. In this example, we're going to do an 8 and 12. All right. So let's say what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my speed square. And if you look at your speed square, if I find my 8, my common rafters, there's 8. If I come straight across from 8, I can tell what degree it's lined up with. All right, and it's roughly 34 degrees. On this piece of wood, all I'm going to do is determine, I'm going to mark an 8 and 12 pitch on this piece of wood. So my 8 and 12 pitch is not actually that angle, it's this angle over here. So I got to turn that now flat. So there's my 8 and 12 piece of wood. I take my 2x6 and I put it on that line. And that's just giving me the angle that my rafter is going to be sitting on my house. If a 2x6 is 5.5 inches wide, so if I got a 5.5 inch wide 2x6, on an angle, that 2x6 is going to be a different measurement. All right. So I'll take this, put this on 8. If I put the edge of this on 8 and 12, that gives me a straight line here. That'll tell me how long this is. From there to there is roughly 6.5 inches. Maybe more like 6 1/4. All right, so we're gonna roll with 6 1/4 inches. That tells me the depth of my cut. Let me get a tape here real quick. And so all I needed this piece of wood was just to give me my angle. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to cut my gable stud out of 2x4. I'm going to put the plank to the table. Alright. So the first thing I'm going to want to do, just right off the edge, and you can do this pretty much, you know, you can come in a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, whatever. I'm just going to make me a straight line to that level. I'm going to set my saw on that 34 degrees that we talked about. So if that's 8 and 12, straight across is 34 degrees. So I'm going to set the bevel of my saw on roughly 34 degrees. And you can get fairly exact with these. All right, the whole time I'm cutting, I'm going to cut from this side. All right. Sometimes your saw wants to bind up with you whenever you're cutting the bevel. So there's my top bevel. My bevel is on the underside down here. So if you look at it, there's that bevel. All right, and that's going to be my top bevel there. So the next thing we're going to do, take my tape measure. I'm going to measure over 1.5 inches. My rafter, 2x6, all 2x material, is 1.5 inches thick. So I'm going to come over 1.5 inches. I'm going to put a mark. All right. Then I'm going to measure down. If you remember, this was sitting like this. I measured down at an angle with 6 1/4. So we're going to come down 6 1/4. I'm going to get a little stuff. I'm going to use my speed square just to make me some straight lines. So I came over 1.5 inches, come down 6 1/4, and we'll just make a straight line. So what we got so far, this looks like that. All right. I'm going to cut that notch out. So this notch, the one that's going this way, we're gonna cut out at the same angle as we did up here at 34 degrees. This angle, I'm gonna set my saw back to 0. All right. So I'm gonna cut this angle first since my saw is already set that way. Now I gotta make sure I bevel my saw back to 0 here. Overcut just a little bit. Now I can use my hand saw, go into an angle, and saw the rest of this out. You can do this with a jigsaw as well. And my Gable stud, as you can see. Now this one, longer than this one, whatever height I need, I can measure down. So if my rafter was already up there, I can measure from there down to my double top plate, cut that off. A lot of guys, what they'll actually do is they'll just take this and trace it, which is smart if I've already got a rafter in place. I don't have a rafter in place at the moment. So if we put this on here like this, it's perfect. And it doesn't matter if this is a little bit below this, all right? So this is okay, because my sheeting, my OSB is gonna go here anyways, and it's gonna get nailed to my rafter, all right? Now it does matter if this is above my rafter. You do not want it like this. If that happens, you gotta cut this piece off, all right? So if you end up in this situation, you have to trace this, cut it off at that angle. All right, because if I go to put OSB on here, then I end up with a gap at my rafter, which is no good. All right. So we cut Gable stud out of 2x4. That's just we put 2 16-penny nails through here. They go into this little piece here. Our gap from here to here is 1.5 inches. That leaves 1 3/4 inches over here. This angle right here is at the same slope whatever your roof is. So let's say you have I'm just gonna make something up, 5 and 12. I found 5 and 12, we go straight across from 5 and 12 and be at 22.5. So if I had a 5 and 12 roof slope, I'd cut these at 22.5. These angles have to be going the same direction. I had kids in my other class, one angle's going this way, one angle's going this way. That will not work out. These two angles have to be parallel with each other, running in the same direction.